Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to be with you again. It seems like an awful long time, or just an awful lot that has happened since the last time we spoke on these daily devotions. It's only just about 10 days, but it feels like a long time to me. There's a lot that's happened in the meanwhile. We've gone through Christmas, we've gone through New Year, and it's all very different from what it was this time last year. But I do still long for you to experience so much more than just a happy new year. I long for you to be safe, and I long for you to know the presence of the Lord and to grow in your walk with him, in your faith relationship with the Lord Jesus. If you were with us yesterday in the service, you might have noticed that I quoted that verse from 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7, which is so well known and well quoted in Christian circles. That is, that we as believers in the Lord Jesus Christ, Christians, we walk by faith, we live by faith, not by sight. And I did say yesterday that I want to work hard at, in my own life, growing in my faith walk. And I don't make New Year's resolutions, but that's about as close as I will get to doing that. And I'd also want to encourage the church to grow in your walk of faith with the Lord. And so this week, I'm going to be chatting about faith. And it's not a logically presented argument for faith or anything like that. It's not a philosophical presentation. It's more in terms of testimony more than anything else. And I'd love you to come with me on this walk as we investigate our Christian faith. Because faith is fundamental, foundational to what being a Christian is all about. So we need to start with exactly what we mean by faith. There are different definitions of what faith is. So you've got Mark Twain's somewhat cynical comment that faith is believing what you know ain't true. And there's some, I know it's cynicism that's associated with that comment, but it has to do with something that almost feels like it's beyond belief. Nevertheless, there's something inside of me that says, yes, I believe that. And that's on the one hand. And then on the other hand, you go through to Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. That's again, a very popular definition, common definition of what faith is. That faith is being sure of. Faith is the assurance of what we hope for. Being certain, being confident of what we do not see. And I love the way Eugene Peterson translates that verse. Again, he just seems to get to the heart of it, where he says, trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. And he's captured the essence of that word assurance, the sureness of things. It's in the original, it talks of being a standing underneath, a supporting underneath of everything that, as Peterson says, makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we can't see, he says. It allows us to come to grips with things that are not evident, they're not visible, they're not tangible, and yet we know them to be true. Now, in the Bible, there are three words that are translated as, or three English words that come from the same Greek word. The Greek word is pistos, and we translate it either as belief or as faith or as trust. And over the years, I've come to the point of wanting to explain my faith more in the sense of, this is what I trust. I believe in it, I put my faith in it, but I'm trusting it, these truths, with my life. And we have to acknowledge that we cannot prove anything that has to do with our faith response. I know there are lots of arguments, but we can't prove anything, not in a scientific or even legalistic way, juristic way. There's no proof of the focus of our faith. But just because there's no proof doesn't mean that it has to be unreasonable. It doesn't have to be completely outside of any sense of reason. It's not unreasonable, for example, to assume that there is a creator. If we look around us and we see the wonder of creation, as I sit here in my study and I look out and I see the mountains and I see the garden around me, and I think in terms of what God has done in creating it. Because if God didn't create that, if God didn't create me, if it wasn't God, then all that I am seeing, experiencing, and all that happens here within this body of mine and yours, of course, is purely an atomic accident. We are simply a collection of atoms coming together. And the whole of creation is simply a Big Bang accident. And when people try to make sense of our existence, our being human, so often there's a faith element. There are numbers of people to whom this comment is attributed, but that there's this God-shaped vacuum inside of all of us. There's something inside of us that wants to try to understand life and why we're here and the meaning of life. And even trying to make sense of creation. And there are many people who will take the approach of saying, I might not believe in the Christian faith or any particular faith, but I acknowledge an intelligent design because when I examine it, it just makes no sense to me that it should all just be an accident. There is some intelligent designer, creator behind all of what we see and all of what we are. And it's not unreasonable to think in those terms. But this morning, I want to urge you to take time out and to think about this issue of faith. And look around you, or look at your hand and how it works. And ask yourself, is this just an accident? And ask yourself, what is there around me or within me that pushes me to believe that there is a God? You don't need to prove it to anyone else, just for yourself. Take time out to just list a few things that are real for you, that make the reasonableness of your faith for you something that's worth being aware of. And then just take a few moments thereafter to just thank God for the evidence you see of him being there. And we'll talk some more tomorrow.